Youth justice is a disaster.
The conditions at Banksia Hill are so bad, the state's top legal experts say it's like child abuse. They want it shut down. We're not talking about a bunch of Oliver Twist-style pickpockets here. These aren't artful dodgers. These are usually violent repeat offenders who've been given a lot of chances. Disproportionately to our shame, they are often Aboriginal. WA Police do everything they can to avoid slapping handcuffs on kids, particularly Aboriginal kids, and the judges will do everything in their power to avoid putting them in jail because they know that it's game over for that kid's already limited life prospects if they do.
Well, that's a good thing because nothing good comes out of kids being in jail.
Well, stops them bashing you and me into sleep, for temporarily at least. But my point is that by the time a kid is in jail, he or she, regardless of their ethnicity, has done some serious crime. Kids who steal four-wheel drives with the express purpose of ramming cop cars, rape, murder and anything else you can think of, and to be honest, some things you just couldn't even possibly imagine. So let's not think that some of them shouldn't be in a secure environment. They absolutely should. The question for you and me and everyone else is what happens to them in that secure environment. What's happening right now is a complete disgrace because we don't have enough staff at Banksia Hill, and the staff we do have are not the best in the business because we don't pay them very much. Because when the government prioritises spending, the welfare of child criminals inevitably ends up below other initiatives such as oncology nurses for children who aren't child criminals.
They've got a $6 billion surplus. We could do both.
We can. We can look after kids who never had a chance in life because through no fault of their own they were born with cancer, as well as look after the kids who never had a chance in life because through no fault of their own they were born with fetal alcohol syndrome.
But we don't.
No, we do not, because the people who pay the tax and who vote don't care about rehabilitation and prison welfare. They care about oncology nurses. Have a look at the government's media statements over the past few months and you will see a million things it thinks are more worthy of funding than helping children stuck in the crime cycle. We're happy to spend $135 million to train hockey players so they have a better chance at Commonwealth gold, but think twice about spending anything to train a jailed teenager in basic life skills so they have a slightly better chance of not coming back to prison.
And then there's those staffing problems.
Why, as a well-qualified private sector site, would you work in a jail when you could be treating Western Suburbs teens who aren't going to spit on you? How do you convince a teacher to take a new challenge? The best paid chalkies in Western Australia should not be at PLC or Scotch or Perth College. They should be at Banksia Hill. That's where we need their skills the most. There are people out there that can solve this problem, but they aren't going to do it for free. You can have all the goodwill in the world, but if a 30 or 40% pay cut means you lose your house, nah.
Yeah. Well, politicians need to start paying them. How do we make that happen?
Well, you're going to ring your local member of parliament about it?
I should.
You feel that passionate? Because that's the only way we're going to get change. The West Australian newspaper is applying a bit of heat at the moment, which is a good thing, and that will shift the dial because Mark McGowan despises bad press. But nothing makes Cabinet change its tune faster than 24 backbenchers in marginal seats saying their voters are angry about something.
So we need to make prison funding an election issue.
Not just prisons. Let's say we rebuild Banksia Hill, ground up, make it a proper support facility rather than the gulag that it is at the moment. And we ram it with the best child health nurses and clinical psychs and teachers and vocational trainers. And we don't have a lifelong prison superintendent overseeing this thing. We have a professional independent board comprising the best qualified people in Australia.
Sadly, it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, it would be a great start. What happens when the kid gets out? Answer me that one. And goes back to an overcrowded house in Roebourne or Armidale and his mates or her mates say on Wednesday morning, going to school, we're going to steal a car. What's the chances of a 14-year-old saying, no, I've seen the light, that part of my life is behind me, I'm a good guy, I'm going to school, going to be a good kid? There's nobody to drive me to school because I haven't seen mum and dad for a few days, and I got nothing to eat for lunch because nobody's been shopping. You're going to begrudge that kid for getting a bit sidetracked on their road to redemption?
So we need to invest in the social services as well.
We cannot rely on the Department of Corrective Services to solve a problem caused by the failures of the Department of Communities, Housing, Health, Education and the Department of Aboriginal Affairs. They have tens of billions of dollars in capital recurrent spending, and when they can't shift the dial, we rely on the most underfunded department, corrective services, to pick up the pieces. Bill Johnson became minister when Fran Logan quit politics last year. You know the thing that was on top of Bill's to-do list?
What?
Getting the prison guard overtime bill down. Martin McGowan doesn't want to spend money to start fixing this problem because the gains are so incremental over such a long time, he'll never get credit for it. And because the picture opportunity at Perth Children's Hospital is going to get him better airplay. I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.